What's going on, fantasy football fans? It's your boy Jordan, and we're back with another B3FL official podcast radio show.
We interrupt our program at the request of the White House. This is the emergency broadcast system. All normal broadcasting has been discontinued during this emergency. The emergency broadcast system has been activated to keep you informed. Do not use your telephone. This station will continue to broadcast, furnishing news, official information, and instruction as soon as possible.
Welcome to the show, Pistol Gun Cop Super Bowl season summary show. A little late on the Super Bowl, a little unorganization on my part. Things get busy. Hope you enjoyed the Super Bowl. Hope you enjoyed the fantasy season, the NFL season. Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous.
As you guys can see, we have a guest with us, commissioner of the league, member of the league, Jer Sterling. How you doing?
Doing well. It's a pleasure to be here. Long-time listener. I would say this is the first-time caller.
First official time as a guest. You were on the inaugural show for a little bit. Jake was the intended guest, I'll say, not to be rude, because of his personality and, I mean, get some viewers, right? Which have also been told is our most viewed show, by the way.
Hey, for good reason.
So statistically, you're on our most viewed shows.
Guest appearance.
Hey, you're on it. So, I mean, that's something. I'm rocking some champagne in my glass right now. I'm wearing a Devils jersey. Timo Meier just traded for the Devils from the San Jose Sharks. Big Devils fan on this podcast. Keep the people up to date. It's been a few weeks since we've been on the show. Ryan, how are things?
They're good, man. I'm doing real good. Just prepping for my trip, but yeah, nothing too exciting. Just hanging out.
And you're headed down under. How long are you there for?
Down under. I don't know. Maybe forever, to be honest, but jury's out.
I know a lot of people, they go there and they don't want to ever come back.
It's just such a hassle flying for 20 hours.
My sister's old roommate actually was back from New Zealand for the first time in I think 8 years. And apparently she's got a full accent now. And
She's faking it.
This is what I said. My sister calls me and she's like, well, we just met and yeah, she's got an accent. And I said, well, how can she? I don't think that's how that works.
I'm pretty sure that only happens to girls.
Yes, I agree with that. Anyways, so if you develop an accent, it's a cool accent. I can't really tell the difference between that and a couple others, but how long are you there for? You're there for indefinitely. You don't have a home book ticket book.
No, I'm currently on a one-way ticket.
How do you think that is going to affect this upcoming season? Time difference.
I'll have to wake up super late, get the
What's
draft in.
do you know what time it is there?
Right now, it's hold on. It's I think
Like 4 in the
it's
morning.
tomorrow. Yeah,
Yeah,
4 in the morning, eh?
they are in the
7:30,
future.
you know?
That should
It's-
help with betting.
no, it's probably like 2 or 3 o'clock tomorrow. Right now
Yeah,
Like
I know
in the
in the
afternoon.
afternoon?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
yeah, I know the Australian Open.
22 hours.
The
eh?
Australian Open is basically a full day ahead. Yeah, that'll be fun though. Booking a one-way ticket to Australia, I respect that. I appreciate that.
Oh wait, so football for you will be Mondays?
I honestly have no idea.
The Tuesday,
It'll be like Monday 11 a.m.
The
I'll have to
Tuesday
wake up like
yeah.
in
Sunday
the middle of the
12
night.
start.
Monday nighter is the Tuesday morninger.
Or it'd be
Yeah.
like Monday at 3 p.m. Your
I don't know
Sunday
how
would
big of a
start.
thing
That's
it is
sick,
over
dude.
there, but
It'll be different.
I bet you could get some sort of streaming system. I don't think anybody else is gonna give a fuck.
No.
might have to watch reruns.
Yeah, well, that's the nice thing about 2023. The technology's there. That'll be a wicked time though, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Hope you enjoyed the 14-hour flight. So we should talk some B3FL before you go. And this show's nice. This is going to be the first year we do some awards. Some of the league elites have wanted some awards to come out. We've got the big award at the end of the show, the GM of the year. We're going to give that to the best of the best. It's a bunch of different qualifiers for becoming GM of the year, your draft, your finishing, like how you finished standing wise, what you've done throughout the year, how you contributed in the Discord chat. A lot of different things come into factors. So it's a big time award. Best branding team, game of the year. We're gonna talk about a bunch of that. But to start the show off, Ryan's going to take us through the nominations for storyline of the year. We sat back and we looked at the entire year from the basically the end of last season to the start or the end of where we are at today. And we looked at what was the best storyline. Ryan, you want to take it away and we'll give this first award out?
Okay, so our nominations for best storyline are Mr. Newborough versus the Buffalo Bills, his collection of every Buffalo Bills team member. Second nomination, Jake versus Ryman throughout the year. Jake being 0-3 in those matchups, Ryman coming out on top. The next nomination is Mike Bell's protest, the scandal, the trade gate. The next nomination is the weak division versus strong division. The divisions between the A League, how those all shook out.
Fake Jakes and the Dalai Lamas.
Yes. And the last nomination is Alex versus Pico, the rivalry for the ages.
Real life rivalry too. I rank him 4th out of 4 on the Sterling Brothers scale. But yeah, obviously a lot of really good ones here. We kind of talked behind the scenes too. The first and the third are similar fallouts of each other, but Jake Ryman thing, the 3-0-0-3, Jake had 4 losses on the year, and 3 of them were to Ryman. Jared, what are your opinions on the best storyline of the year?
Oh, well, for me, at an instant, the protest is kind of sticks out for me the most. It was a big moment. But when you think about it, it's more of the result of a bigger underlying story that I thought was really captivating, and I think kind of defines the season. So among all of these, I think some of these, I think this Buffalo Bills trades, everything that kind of escalated from that, and it resulted in Mike Bell finally taking a stand and saying no more. That the whole story arc was very captivating.
One of the most entertaining parts of this entire season.
I mean, it started off, it was really early in the year too, right? So it made the rest of the year, it was the talk of it. I mean, every week there was some ramification for the first 6-7 weeks, at least, of that trade, of the trades that went down in the A-League. And I mean, it was talked about in the B-League. It was a major storyline throughout the year. So I definitely agree with you that that's a great pick. Ryan, what do you think? What's your opinion on the best storyline of the year?
Honestly, when I saw the words "Go Buffalo" as the team name, and I looked through the roster and saw every Buffalo player on his team, it brought me so much joy, and I don't think it would be possible to give the award to anybody else, in my opinion.
Yeah. So that being said, you've heard it from us on our opinions. With the first official winner of an award in the B3FL given out by the Pistol and Gun Cop show, Ryan, which storyline was the best storyline this year?
Go Buffalo.
Go Buffalo. And Trade Gate, the trade scandal, whatever you want to call it. That was the best storyline this year. Jared, what are your thoughts on that?
Couldn't agree more. It was it sparked something in this league. And I want people watching, people paying attention, and my God, that was captivating. So it was well deserved, and I'm happy. Valued general manager in this league, absolutely.
100%.
Yo, my sound effects are coming through, right? You guys hear them?
I did hear a little bit of the drum roll.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that too.
I heard a very brief. It was just like 1-2, 1-2, but we did hear a slight drum roll. So yeah, I mean, shout out Go Buffalo. He ended up having a decent season, finishing I think just under 500, still in the A-League next year. Was it a successful strategy? I don't know, just because, I mean, he finished kind of in purgatory right in the middle. But again, still in the A-League next year. I'm not there. Ryan's not there. Jared's there by default. I don't know if, anyone here can say that.
I make the rules, man. I make the rules.
Before
we move on, though, I would, the Alex and Pico rivalry, I must say, that was has been blooming as one of our younger rivalries. Another unsung, kind of under the radar type of rivalry, and I don't know if it's so much of a rivalry yet, more of a David versus Goliath, is Nate and Kalen have been going at it. It's like a little bit of a pillow fight, as Kalen has just been manhandling the relationship. But love to see the fight, and both Kalen and Nate will be up in the A-League next year. So
it's funny, they played in week 12, and it was a 114-111 match, and that they knew they were both going to the playoffs. Kalen pulled it out 114-111. That was the Josh Jacobs week. He had 42 points. That's what put Kalen over the top. But I agree, Kalen's dominated that series. Nate had a great year. And we'll talk about him later on in the show. And people have talked about him being up for GM of the year, possibly. Bit of an outside candidate, but I mean, the nomination could be there. He had a terrific year coming off what was an abysmal first year. To be expected when you're playing in your first year of big league fantasy. And that is a great rivalry. Kalen obviously coming out on top this year. really, he came out on top of most of his matchups, and that's why he won the B League championship. Yeah, and maybe in the future we talk about we don't have an award for it today, but the best rivalry of the year. I feel like Alex and I have kind of been able to bring some life to some rivalries. As I said before, he probably won't ever come on the show. I don't know if I want him on the show. Yeah, so we'll see. But a lot of good rivalries happening in the league. That Jake Ryman rivalry, obviously a big one too. But before we go any further into the league, I know the commissioner, putting your commissioner hat on here, Jer, I see you're wearing the B3FL merch. Big storyline this year. We had merch for the first year. Awesome. Do you want to go through some of the stuff that you've brought today and talk about that?
Yeah, I would love a little sneak peek. Something we've kind of been developing behind the scenes. I know it's been mentioned before that we're trying to up our HR department, try and get our ducks in a row and get some paperwork out there. So we've created a manifesto, a B3FL manifesto, essentially outlines rules, terms and conditions, what's expected from general managers, and kind of lays the foundation for if any disputes or how any conflicts moving forward will be settled. So do you mind if I share my screen? Are we doing visual too?
Absolutely.
You can share your screen, buddy. It's your room, Kamish.
All right, let's get into this then.
But it's not your show, so just remember that.
Yeah, I would never steal that from you guys. You guys do a great job.
B3FL manifesto. What am I looking at here, Jer?
This is the first page. Gives a nice outline, kind of about the league. Our purpose, the league identity, things that the image that we're kind of striving for. It outlines where we're kind of going. It gives us a little bit inception of the league. A little bit of it. Actually, we've kind of outlined how this came to be. You know, when the league was first forming. I want to give you guys a little bit of a background on that. So there's a little bit of a story where me and Jordan were kind of hanging out and doing some recreational things. But in all seriousness, it also has a code of conduct. It outlines a few important aspects: behavior, compliance with rules and regulations, enforcements, possible penalties, league structure. Outlines most of the stuff everybody, y'all will be familiar with, but it's written in stone. Can't ask for much more than that.
Yep.
It also aligns scoring, tiebreakers, which will be a hot topic and will be discussed throughout the off season. Hoping to get some feedback from a number of you, as well as our scoring system will be up for debate in the off season. So hopefully we have everything settled before preseason kicks off next year.
Now, I think this is awesome. I think this clarifies a lot of different things. We're in talks right now, having the B3FL, having a City Hall, an open house conversation. So some people, if they have comments, suggestions, concerns about any of the things in this document, we'll be setting that up at a later date. And hopefully we can just, clarify anything if there's any issues with this. Kamish, you'd be open to doing something like that, I'm sure, right?
Absolutely. Always trying to get everybody's opinion and feedback. So,
and we'll go over this, and then we can get some opinions of some guys. And if you show up, you get a say, and if you don't, well, then you're kind of stuck with what gets decided. So, you want to show up to that, and we'll have some more information on a date where we can get that out to people. and we can do a little city hall on that. Ryan, what do you think of the manifesto?
I love it. I'm a big fan. If I had to describe it in one word, I would say
I kind of missed the word.
fuck, dude. I gotta figure these sound effects out. But yeah, no, I love it. I'm a big fan. I hope to give it a closer once over before the start of the next season.
Yeah, we encourage it. Any any
just
concerns?
ready to sign it.
Yeah, I think, right off the bat, I think for me, I think you look at the bottom with determination, just some clarification on how that would look. I think obviously you do a lot for the league, and the commissioner has a certain power over the league. I'm interested to see what people think about not just this, but just through the manifesto itself. And I've got to, kind of read through it again. Where do people want the power to fall? And we'll see. We'll see. I think the city hall is the best thing to do. Open it up to people and have a good conversation about it. I love that it's here because I think it just clarifies, that we ran into a situation this year with just how the tiebreakers were going to be handled, right? And the seeding of the playoffs.
Yeah.
This completely eliminates that. And that's exactly what we want. And as your league grows and continues to grow, right?
Yep.
That's what we're looking for, and clarity. And this is what brings it. And I like the code of conduct. I like the intro. I think that's great. The code of conduct's great because it keeps, it holds everyone accountable. You can't just start verbally abusing a guy in the league.
Even if you really want to.
It keeps it somewhat civil. So if there is an issue, it can be addressed, and everyone's agreeing. I think, how are you going to enforce this? I think people have to sign it or whatnot and send it back to them. I don't know how that happens. I mean, it's an official document of the league. And
I think my thoughts are, if you send me money to agree to be participating in this year,
you're agreeing to the terms and conditions.
And we'll do the fees before the season starts.
I like that. And I think I agree with that. I think that kind of clarifies that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think give people time to read through it and really go through it in detail. And we'll set up a city hall date and go through it and have a good talk. Because I'm sure there's other rules that people want to suggest. And I know that, and I think we've talked in the past too about keeping some of those rule change ideas in the back of your head, right?
Yeah. For me, this off season, the tie breaking is a big one. I really want to try and get everyone's feel on it. This year we did like point differential in like games, which I do think is really cool because it, for me, underlying concern is I don't like the idea of people throwing games.
Yeah.
I think it's a bad look on the whole league, and we're trying to be competitive. So tie-breaking scenarios where if you throw a game and your point, where that's where like points for kind of comes in, or like the point differential comes in. I think like that's something we need to keep in mind when we're trying to figure out what we are doing for tiebreakers. So that's a big one. And then as always, because we are in standard scoring, the idea of PPR is always a hot topic. People always want to. There's always a PPR crowd, and then there's always people that say just keep it as it is.
Yeah, well, the PPR topic and half PPR is, I mean, the first year of this league in the merger, it was the two leagues, the A League and the B League, were different.
Mm-hmm.
We addressed it in the off season, having them be the same, and I think that was the correct thing. I like the standard scoring we did this year. I think it takes away an aspect of fantasy football in terms of having those receptions, and having guys that have little yards but a lot of receptions. But again, I think sticking with the standard, I don't know if it needs to be addressed this year. Ryan, I don't know what your thoughts on the PPR versus standard are.
I've always played standard, so that's just the way I know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really like. I mean, it is what it is. As long as we decide before the league starts, right? It's
Yep.
all ironed out. But
Yep.
if I was just my personal opinion, I would say keep it standard. I like standard. Big fan.
This was my first year of standard. I've always done PPR or half PPR. That's how it always was in the league, the King of Chains league. So that for me, I that was a bit of an adjustment, not having the running backs bring as much value or a receiver who gets a ton of catches, but I did prefer the standard, so I'm fine with leaving it there. We'll see if someone else or a majority have a different opinion on it. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that'll be talked about. So we'll set up a city hall date. We'll get a time and a date set. Hopefully in the next maybe, I don't know, month or so. It's the off season. We don't want to be working too hard.
Yeah.
But we still want to bring content to everyone. We want to get everyone on. We want to do a bio for everyone still. I've mentioned that in the past.
That'd be cool.
Is there any, and I know rumors have been swirling about a potential website or an online thing, Kamish, is there any forward progress on that front? Getting something set up there is
kind of in we do have a website, actually.
Yeah.
We do have the B3FL domain. Progress has been stalled.
Yep.
For that. We've been I guess sneak peek, we've been looking at a fundraiser. Is our first plan of action, because kind of with the same breath as the website, there's a few other things that as a league I would like to do. And like a league trophy, for instance, is a simple one that would be really nice to have, pass it around, maybe pay for shipping or something like that. Anniversary gifts, or if we were trying to set up something maybe for the draft order, would be really nice to have the at least option to do.
Yep.
So still up for debate, because I know the other thing that people have mentioned is the league fees. People would kind of like to fatten the pot up a little bit.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably a good idea, as well as some sort of league, kind of a commission almost that we could put towards certain things for the league as a whole, like the trophy, and that we could everybody could
there's enough of us that if the league fee was just an extra $5 or whatever, it would go a long way.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I was kind of thinking.
I agree with that.
Whoever wins the league will just ship you the trophy, and then that's done. And the remainder can stay, and we can use it in future years or something.
Yeah, I really like that idea, and I think that I mean, a trophy is interesting because it adds something to it, right, for winning. I think it's kind of a cool idea. It's got to have a cup on the top. I want to drink out of it when I get there. That's my only request with a trophy, would be that. But yeah, I think that's an interesting thing to bring up at the city hall too. Adding a few extra bucks onto the league fees, and just being able to take that money and put it elsewhere into the league, right?
Yep.
Game of the year. We want to do that award, Ryan?
Game of the year.
And I think while Jared's gone, when we talked about and the qualifications for what game of the year is, it's really dependent on who had the most eyes on that game. Most talked about, close game. You want it to be somewhat close, but who's most talked about? What stirred up the most in the league? That's what we want to know. That's what the league, the game of the year award is.
We're talking excitement. We're talking impact.
Yeah, throughout the entire league. And we're looking for names. We're going to look for official names for each award. So we'll need to brainstorm something like that throughout the years. But for right now, Game of the Year award, Ryan, who are our nominees for Game of the Year?
Our nominations for Game of the Year. Number 1, Battle of the Zacks. Great, big, exciting game. 2 guys, same name.
Always a good one.
Excitement. Number 2, Mike Bell benching his whole team against, I believe, Matt Daly.
Yeah.
Which again, shook the league. Number 3 was Dan Sterling and Connor Pico Mortal Kombat match where they both played 2 players. I believe it was a quarterback and a wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we took a quarterback, and then we took one player from each team. He had Herbert and Devontae Smith, went up against Lamar Jackson and Justin Jefferson.
Our number 4 is myself ending my 8-week losing streak. That was quite a big deal. Number 5, Ryman beating Jake over and over again. You could take any one of those games as Game of the Year. Our number 6 is Kyler Murray going down to push Ricky into the playoffs. It's a big deal. And number 7 would be Go Buffalo Bills versus, is that Matt Daly who played?
That was Daly, yeah.
All Patriots against him, which again, another exciting game. He took a page out of Go Buffalo's playbook and started a whole team of players against him.
He did lose that week. Go Buffalo. Buffalo beat the Patriots, and that was the week there. So interesting though. That was very exciting to see that. It was kind of cool. We talked about it on one of the podcasts we had earlier in the year. You ending your losing streak, Ryan. That game actually kept you in contention going forward, and that was really the only excitement with the playoff race in the B League was you actually being involved.
Yeah, that was every game after that was a make or break game.
Ryman obviously taking on Jake. I look back to the last week of the season, week 13 or week 14, that week as a big week because then they went into playoffs and it was like, okay, Jake has this curse against Ryman where he can't beat him. And Ryman obviously went on, the biggest Cinderella run our merger league has seen. An 8-6 team going all the way to the finals and almost beating the back-to-back champ that is Daly.
Yeah, for me, a rivalry that always keeps coming back every year. Can kind of always count on it. That it gets a little bit of spotlight when it comes around, but it's something that we don't necessarily get to see every year. And this year we got to see it twice. Is the Battle of the Zacks.
Battle of the Zacks.
It's always a good fight. Definitely a notable rivalry. And,
love the Battle of the Zacks.
And one of the
count on,
I believe
next year it'll be there again.
Just gonna say, I believe one of our nominations for meme of the year also came out of that Battle of the Zacks. With
rightfully so.
Zach dropping that CK over CH.
Yes, I remember that. The Drake. That was a great post. Ultimately, Zach, or Zach as we were calling it at the time, which is the proper way to spell Zach at the moment with an H. Zach Tickle ended up beating Zach Lang in the first round of the playoffs to take that rematch game. It was awesome, though. It was awesome to have the 2 games like that back to back. Not quite back to back, but basically back to back. It was great. And it was close somewhat. There's one that we didn't have on the nomination list. I want to give an honorable mention to, Ryan, before we go to the winner. Week 1, we had Mike Bell versus Ricky. That was a week 1 playoff matchup as well. It was 114.2 to 113.2. Week 1 separated by under a point. They played week 8. Ricky beat him again. And then they played first round of the playoffs as well. Great rivalry starting. Mike Bell, Ricky, both are going to be in the A-League next year. It was a great week one matchup to start the year. So that's an honorable mention for the game of the year. Ryan, game of the year.
The
Drum
winner
roll.
is Mike Bell benching his entire team and losing to Matt Daly on purpose.
The people have spoken. The Mike Bell benching. I don't even know a word to describe it. That the Mike Bell benching situation at 3-0, going up against Daly. Crazy. Yeah, so Mike Bell loses that week. He benches his entire team. Game of the year. It was most talked about. It was a fallout of the trade gate, which happened prior to the beginning of the season, which was the storyline of the year. And one of the reasons why it was game of the year in relation to storyline of the year. Everyone was talking about it.
Led to a lot of action in the Discord, essays, memes. It was exciting stuff.
Mike Bell released a statement following the game after, benching his entire team. So it was definitely game of the year. I would never do it. I would never bench my entire team and take the loss. I've said that before. I'll say it again. But the people have voted, and that was voted game of the year.
I think well earned. Very memorable game.
Yeah. Now,
something you'll remember.
Before we get to our next award, we were talking prior to the show. We had a bit of a division discrepancy, and this was also a storyline that was kind of talked about throughout the year. Prior to the season, the top two teams from the first year, Jake and Daly, drafted two divisions in the A-League. Now, there was some controversy after the draft in terms of trades that were made. One division way stronger than the other division. Jared, are we going to be making any changes to how the divisions are chosen in the A-League?
No. I think it will play out as God intended. We have Ryman and Daly as a returning captain. They'll draft the teams. Just like we did last year, whatever goes. We'll let them settle it themselves.
Yeah, money. I hear you. I think it worked out well this year. Obviously, one division was much stronger in terms of wins. Jared, you were in the Delhi Llamas. You had a 7-7 record and finished second in the division. I think there was 3 teams at 8-6 in the fake Jakes. So obviously a bit of a stronger division, but again, I don't know if it made a difference down the stretch. Daly had the best team, and he ultimately won.
Just the way the cookie crumbles,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, Ryan, is there any idea that you would like to have a divisions or whatnot in the B League? I have a feeling you're going to be down there for a few years. I don't know if you want to see the game.
I like it. 10 teams. There's not a lot of you can't really do much to split that up.
Mm-hmm.
I think the B League is perfect just the way it is. Short of
my suggestion for the B League.
Still.
My only suggestion for the B League would be to play it out as a European Premier League, and this is partly because I can't win a playoff game. Just have a regular season, and at the end of it, the top 4 teams move on, no playoffs. But that would ultimately have gotten me into the A if we had done that. So
No, that's not happening.
Maybe that's just me talking.
That's not first place.
If I could change anything about the B League, it would probably be to move myself out of it up to the A League. Something we could talk about next year.
I hear you.
I can't wait. Next year we'll chat.
Merch. We dropped merch this year. That was a bit of a storyline we had. And you said over 95. It looks like 95% of the league has gotten their merch.
I think We're missing a few people.
Few?
You two.
Yeah.
You two. I think I'd have to confirm. I think Zach Tickle, and then I know Jordan was responsible for his friends, so I wouldn't be surprised if Omar doesn't have it. But that's on Jordan. Other than that, I think everybody's been
Right
hooked up.
on. No, the merch has been awesome. Gets everyone excited about the league, right?
Yeah, Ryan, if you're going to your mom's over the next few days, I'll get the stuff dropped off. Any
Sounds
chance you're
good.
going over there?
I mean,
Yeah.
I can, like, I'll make the trip to go pick it up.
Okay. Yeah, you should. I'll get my mom to drop it off. She actually asked me the other day.
Or yeah, I can even swing by there if you guys put it on the porch or something. Or
Okay. I'll talk to my mom. She'll probably drop it off, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
We'll figure that out.
Whatever's easiest. Yeah.
Yeah, merch, awesome, love it.
What do you guys think? But also, by the way, for merch wise, thinking about another line. Hearing some suggestions. Anything you guys like could would want that would like be lying around the house that could stick a few B3FL logos on?
I was thinking like a drink cozy. That would be maybe the only
Oh my
thing.
gosh,
As
dude,
I'm
you
sitting
just
here.
read my mind. That's exactly what I was about to say.
That's why.
Okay.
That's why we're here, buddy.
I like that actually. I was thinking for me like a keychain.
Yeah,
would be sick.
Keychain would be sweet.
Even like a mug.
Bandanas or a golf towel.
Or
like maybe like something for the head of your driver.
Yeah, a golf club thing. That'd be awesome, actually.
Right, that would be pretty sick.
Those are some really good ideas, actually. There we go. You're thinking, what's the idea there? You're thinking of like adding one thing a year, like a new item a year.
Well, like if people want it, like I really like the idea of just like lighting up everybody with a whole bunch of B3FL gear.
Yeah,
like I think that'd be like t-shirts and hats and stuff. Like I think that'd be cool to have. So like whatever's popular, and the more people that want something, the more likely I'll be able to do it. One driver head is tough, but if I could do a dozen,
yeah,
we're there.
That'd be sweet. That would be really sweet. Right now, the idea I think has to be Vegas 2025 or 2026, and getting the league down there for one of those years. I think that makes the most sense. It gives people time. It gives people an idea of dates. So right now, I think tentatively Vegas 2025 is what we have to be thinking. It gives us a year and a bit to plan and come up with ideas and brainstorm that. But that would be an idea. Just brainstorming here. Before we get too far away from our theme here, the award show, do we want to give the best branding award away?
Please, let's do it. Ryan?
Ryan, you want to go ahead with the nominations?
Best team branding. So this goes to the team who had the best, name, picture, combination, just best branding, right, for your team. So our nominations this year are number 1, the Gun Cops, pretty solid. Number 2, Go Buffalo. Great name, great picture, great team, all kind of working together there. Number 3, Kalen Loves the Cowboys. Great name, great picture. Number 4, the Quinnell Quicksand. And number 5, the Kanata Thunder.
Kanata Thunder. Jake Sucks is an honorable mention there, I think, for team name, eh?
Especially after going 3-0.
Solid name.
Really,
yeah, that really adds to the branding, the image. Just stomping on Jake so hard that he even changed his own team name to Ryman's Bitch.
Yeah,
that's big, actually. Wow.
If he gets a picture in there next year, he might take the whole thing.
Yeah, and I mean, best branding, it's just how you run with your team, how you support your team. The picture, as Ryan said, and the team name. I mean, we want people to be creative. We want people to have some sort of identity. with the league, and however you make that is up to you. But this award just goes to the guy who best portrayed his team this year. And Ryan, who was the winner of the best team branding award?
Our winner for the best branding of this year goes to Go Buffalo.
Go Buffalo. And
Go Buffalo.
they were also an award winner earlier, basically with the storyline of the year. They were a big part of that. Scott, Go Buffalo. Congratulations. You have the best team branding of the year. Go Buffalo. You had to cheer for Buffalo every week because your entire team was Buffalo. This icon was Buffalo. Everything about your team was Buffalo. It was branded for them. You're a Buffalo fan. Yeah, I mean, great team branding. Yeah, great job. Congratulations.
That's
Scott.
the way. That's how you do it. You guys want to know branding? Take a look at Go Buffalo. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. That's how you sell jerseys. Put butts in the seats. Congratulations, Go Buffalo. That's awesome. The next award we have, kind of a fun award we've got, because we all know who the winner is. It's the best podcast / power rankings of the B3FL. And I believe Ryan has the nominees for that.
So your nominations for the best podcast / power rankings for this year goes to number 1, the BFL official podcast with Jordan Sterling and Tom's power rankings. Your number 2 nomination goes to Pistol and the Gun Cops and Connor Pico's official power rankings. Any comments on those, folks?
I think this is probably the easiest decision of the day.
I'd say. So without further ado, your winner for the best podcast / power rankings for this year goes to Pistol and the Gun Cops and Connor Pico's official power rankings.
Yeah, well, thank you to the League Elites who chose this award. We work hard for it, and we kind of knew we ran away with it late in the year when we started the show, and that's why we do it. So we do it for the awards and the recognition. So thank you so much, guys, to everyone who voted.
Shout out to the other nominees. I dream of a world where maybe, there's 5-6 different podcasts for this league for us to beat. And maybe next year,
Yeah, maybe someone starts up their own little show and then comes on and competes with us. Although Jordan's been great. Jordan, shout out Jordan and the official B3FL podcast. Although I feel the views there are a little one-sided. So it's interesting the dynamic we have going in the league there. So yeah, congratulations to our podcast for winning the podcast of the year.
Yeah, I think it was well deserved. I'm sure I see a bright future for you guys next year. I think people next year will really see why and start to come around. And
yeah,
I think 2023 is going to be a big year. That's just the beginning.
Definitely agree. Heard those sound effects loud and clear on that one. Now, Ryan, are you going to be able to post the pictures for the memes of the year on this podcast? Like actually show them here?
I can do that. That is a possibility.
I know. I know it's a lot to ask. I'm just asking.
No, I love it.
Because we've gone through and found some of the best memes that were created throughout the year for meme of the year. Jer, you obviously have the pictures up in front of you, do you?
I do.
There's been some great memes posted this year, and some people in the Discord chat that are so quick on the computer to do it. Which one jumps out to you? We've got 6 in front of us right now, I believe.
Yeah, for me, man, these are. I think this really took the league. We always say it took it to a new level this year.
Mm-hmm.
I know I was talking to some people in the league, and they're actively like, "I got this one in the bank for when I, beat this person, or what I mean, my
Nice.
quarterback does this." And I think it's you feel it, and I know some work went into these guys. For me, I try and it's a meme. Don't look too much into it. What strikes you at first? For me, the Jake and Nate mom and dad meme with Zach and Ryan as the little girls. Oh man, that's funny. That shit is fucking funny, dude.
That one is good. I really like that one. I'll be honest, that one, the first one right off the bat, Russ cooking is really funny. But I really like the Henderson, Tom gearing up to put his team in the middle of the power rankings despite firmly in last.
True,
I
this one's back actually.
it.
This one is underrated. Didn't get too many likes. I got 9.
9 and 3 100s. I loved it. I think that's awesome. So that's my vote. Would be Henderson in that one. Ryan, what about you? What's your favorite meme?
Let's see here. I like this one a lot. Got a lot of attention there. The Zach Zach one is classic. That
It's hilarious.
comes with like the good context of winning that game, right? Dropping it right after that is it's funny stuff.
Really good.
I agree with the Meadowvale one. That's some quality Photoshop work there. Spend some time in the lab on that one.
It is really funny.
This one's good because he kind of roasts all 3 of them at once.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's still kind of a roast. It still kind of gets roasted.
And then I also do like the Russ cooking one. That was a big thing. Russ cook, let him cook, whatever. And this is what he's cooking up here is the delectable meal we got in front of us.
A lot of really, really good ones. Was there an official vote done for this?
No, I think we'll host it after this. We'll put it out.
Yeah, we'll leave it up
TBD.
to the league to decide.
So for everyone watching, we're going to post this in the Discord chat. We're going to take your votes. Hopefully everyone can jump on and vote on which meme that they want to vote for meme of the year. Some great ones, boys. Great job. So that'll be awesome. We'll be able to post that on the chat and everyone kind of get involved on who's going to win meme of the year. And we'll keep we got to get an archive basically started for all the awards given out so we can keep track of who wins what, right?
Hall of Records.
And I don't know if someone who maybe hasn't been able to jump into the league in a certain way that wants to be involved, if someone wants to take that duty over,
the league historian.
The league historian, we could use one of those. So for anyone who wants to jump up, I think that could be a great opportunity for someone.
Always looking for people. If people want to help out, I got lots of suggestions.
Yeah,
lots of ways to contribute, and everyone's just making the league bigger and bigger.
Well, and that's it. And some people just are busy and, you can't produce and I totally get that. That's why over the course of the summer, we'd like to have everyone on at least once just to get, a face to the team name and generate some sort of voice for a team. And I think that would be really, really cool to do. That being said, we do have one more award to give out, which is GM of the Year. But before we get into GM of the Year, wanted to just bring up quickly, remind people, 4 people being demoted to the B League, 4 people going up to the A League next year. Jared, do you just want to quickly run through that, remind everyone who's going to be where next year?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll start with the good news. Huge congratulations to Kalen, runaway winner of the B League this year. Solid team, solid playoff performance. Coming back up. One season in the B League shows why he's coming back up. As well as Nate, Eric Henderson, and Papa T will be moving on up. So congratulations, guys. And then bad news. I think I don't know if we could throw the Teletub meme up, but the boys moving down to the B League. I know they're having fun. They're all heading down, having a good time. I know that nobody's sour in that crew. Jordan, Tom, Omar, Jordan, Ivany. Enjoy each other's company.
Hilarious that those are the four guys going down. That's awesome. So those 8 guys are going to be changing leagues next year. The B League is going to be really interesting going into next year.
Both media sources. A lot of coverage.
A lot of coverage of the B League. It's interesting to see it. Yeah, Tom down in the B League too with the power rankings. Sucky McSuckerton and Omar is also down in the B League. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And the guys going up, I mean, a couple of the names we're going to talk about later too. Kalen walked away with it. He's had a couple great years in a row. Nate, obviously, if there was an award for comeback GM of the year, it's probably him after finishing so poorly last year. Henderson was also down in the 3 blind mice at one point this year. And he bounced back to have a terrific year, put up a win streak from week 7 to week 13, which is impressive in its own right. So him going up to the A-League, we'll see how they do. Any of those names, Jared, though, you want to take a stab at any of those names who you think is going to be back where they were last year? Out of the 8 names there, one of them who you think goes back to where they were.
Oh, it's somebody that's coming up that's going to go back down, or somebody that's going down that's going to come back up?
Or either or, yeah.
Ooh, coming back up, I'll give you 2. I think coming back up, I think Tom will make it back into the A-League next year.
Okay.
I think that's just what Tom does. Boom, 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 boom. And then going back down of them. Oh, I don't know. I think Miss Papa T
going back down
as he does well in the B League, and I think he'll be bottom 4 next year.
Ryan, what about you? Who do you think switches spots next year?
Probably me. Probably going up. Don't know about those 8. Not really my concern. I'm focused.
Focused on himself. Yeah, I hear you there. I think I like to think Tom might go back up, but I think Henderson comes back down. I think he had a big streak to get into the playoffs this year. But I do see Henderson coming back down. And also I'll say it. I think Nate comes back down too. I think he gets another dose of reality going to the A-League. 14 teams. I think it's a lot different. I don't think Jake helps him at all next year because Jake's going to be in the A-League. I could see Nate also falling back down to the B League again, which of course is going to happen eventually. At this point, Ryan and I are lifetime B Leaguers, and we love it down here. So,
hey, we love it. The content you guys are providing from down there, hell,
that's what it's about.
It's not so bad.
Now, another storyline which we haven't talked about a ton when it comes to the playoffs was Ryman's run. An 8-6 team barely getting in, running all the way to the finals. I mean, when we talk about Cinderella runs, can you say a Cinderella run despite him not winning? What do you guys think about that? Do you think that this has to be classified as a great playoff run, or is it just we're gonna forget about it in a couple of years?
I think it's something it's like a story that's not yet written. If Ryman falls next year and is not good,
Mm-hmm.
this is nothing. This is sort of Cinderella run and it's over.
So you put it dependent on how he does next year and the success he has.
Yeah, because Ryman's one of those guys that, in my opinion, he's been improving every year. Last year, actually, he was my pick to win before like the previous season. I thought he'd win. I thought his team this year was actually more well-rounded, and he got a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of think if there's a chance that next year he makes that jump and wins the whole thing, we'll see this as a stepping stone. That being said, might not play out like that.
Yeah, and you're right. It might not play out like that at all, and we'll see how he ends up doing. But fair. I mean, for me, you called it a Cinderella run just because I think we had him losing the first week to Jake, and then he goes into the second week. And I can't even remember. I'm gonna pull up who he played right now.
He lost it. He beat Zach Tickle.
That's right. He beat Zach Tickle because the Battle of the Zach rematch. Dally walked through. Yourself. He literally walked right through you. 120 to 65, basically. And then he walked right through Ricky, who had a battle again with Mike Bell, 114, 113.
Yep.
Yeah, they were terrific. And then Jake and Dally meet, or Jake sucks, Ryman and Dally meet in the finals, and Ryman falls flat on his face with a 53.9. A 53.9. That's a tough one to fathom. Kind of gave it to Dally there. And the back-to-back championships obviously is a major storyline. And I think that we haven't talked about that maybe enough. That is Dally that much better at fantasy football than everyone else? Jared, what do you think?
It might look like that. He's figured at least the format out. Fuck, man. When you think he's got, I think, 4 championships now in, I think, 12 seasons.
And our league doesn't recognize necessarily championships pre-merger. We're very merger friendly on this show. But previous winner in a previous league, I mean, that says a lot.
Or we say he's won 2 championships in a row.
He's won the only 2 championships in
that
the
are
BPFL.
available, right?
Yeah,
100%. 100% is a pretty good.
Yeah, so he might be better than us at make believe games.
Yeah, and I mean, he dropped a meme this year with his son wearing a shirt that said, "My dad's better than you," and haven't been really able to get back from that. So,
plus the Pick'em co-champion. This guy, he's got a lot of checks. He's checking a lot of boxes.
He's looking like, and I'm not going to say this, but he's looking like a Tom Brady-ish version of our league so far. That's the way his career in the BPFL is starting, at least.
Joe Namath.
We're just going to disrespect the guy like that. I hear you, though. Maybe Patrick Mahomes off to a hot start. We'll see how it goes the rest of the way.
We'll see.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he's drafted Kelsey in the first round 2 years. He's going to draft in the first round next year, provided he has the first pick. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get to the GM of the year and the big award of the day, any ideas on draft day and when what we're looking at doing? Any ideas?
More to be determined. We're looking to have everything lined up earlier this year, though. I'd love to have draft order determined June. like taking into account, I like the idea of spacing out some news and trying to get the scoring and
Yeah.
maybe another line of merch out. Thinking July, sometime in July, the order will be out, and then would love to have the draft date set by early August, and then the actual draft after preseason to avoid injuries.
Okay. I like that. That timeline definitely sounds. I like that timeline. I don't know what your thoughts on that are, Ryan, but that sounds reasonable.
I'll just take it as it comes to me, man.
Yeah. Pretty laid back. Gun cop is.
It is what it is.
He's always playing good cop,
Just wait.
Yeah, I hear you. Vegas 2025. Just gonna keep throwing that out there. That's a date we're looking at. I've got it circled on my papers in front of me.
Be exciting.
We're coming up to the final big award of the show. Before we get to that, because that's going to kind of end us off, GM of the year. Thoughts on the Super Bowl, Jer? Let me hear what you have to tell me about that. What are your opinions on the Super Bowl this year? How it ended, that penalty. Did you think it was a penalty? Overall flow of the game, halftime show. Tell me thoughts.
Yeah. I thought it was a great game. I think it's kind of a game that the more time passes, I do think we'll kind of look back and be like, oh yeah, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, like why bet against them? It'll become more obvious. Where at the time, like it was, I knew a lot of smart people betting on the Eagles, and for good reason.
For very good
absolutely.
reason. I had the Chiefs. I bet on the Chiefs, and I also bet purple Gatorade. Both hit, so not bad.
Purple Gatorade. I like Gatorade. That bet. I don't ever bet on purple though.
Yeah, Julia wants to know that she actually picked the color, but yeah, so we won that. It was a great game. I mean, you don't really get much closer than 38-35, correct? Is the final score?
36-33.
Yeah. 3-point game. Great game. But what did you think of the penalty at the end?
Well, I think it was a penalty. I was sad because it kind of ruined an ending of a possibly classic. But I do think it was a penalty, so I say so flag. And
my only concern with it was I don't think Juju catches that ball, even if he's got a free run. I think it was overthrown a bit, or he took too long in the route. I just don't think it's a catchable ball. And that's where I thought that they could have picked the flag up afterwards.
I think that's fair.
Ryan, what are your thoughts on that penalty?
I mean, I would never put the game in Juju's hands. That's just me. If it was up to me, I would never throw the ball at all.
Oh, wow.
I would say do some TikToks on the sidelines.
He was on my fantasy team this year. I picked him up. He was decent.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, just he's whatever. But yeah, no, I thought it was a good game. I had a lot of fun watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I had some friends bet on it. I'm not really a big bettor, but yeah, they were all pretty happy with the outcome. A couple buddies winning a couple $100, so that's good.
Nice. A lot of people were on the Eagles, though.
Yeah, I honestly, like, it's easy to say in hindsight that I thought the Chiefs were going to win, but if I had to put money down, I probably would have put it on the Chiefs. I was expecting a high-scoring game. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yep. There was some good plays, some big plays, both sides. I thought it was interesting. The game was a good game. It was a good football game. Andy Reid with that much time, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce is probably the best tight end to ever play. I have never said that before, so that's a first, and I think it's true.
He's pretty good.
He's amazing. Andy Reid is an amazing coach. there's no reason why they're not going to be back there next year, even if Aaron Rodgers comes to the Raiders, and I hope he does. But yeah, that division's just stacked. Sean Payton now in it, and I still feel the Chiefs are a step above everybody.
Birth of a dynasty.
What do you think's more likely? Patrick Mahomes, back-to-back Super Bowl, kind of bringing out the dynasty, or a three-peat by Mr. Galley?
Ooh.
I think more likely is the three-peat. I think the Chiefs going into next year, I don't know how I don't think they three-peat or they go back to back. I just don't think so. But again, I mean, like
you're betting on Dally.
I would go with the Dally for 3 just because, well, I'm not in the A League, so I can't stop them. So I don't know, who else is going to stop them.
Ryan, what do you think?
I don't know. It's tough to say. Dally's got a pretty good track record so far. Although so do the Chiefs, right? They go the distance pretty much every year so far. So tough to say. Tough to say, really.
Yeah. What about you, Jer?
I bet on the Chiefs.
Yeah, Dally's not getting in next year, right?
I'm not betting on Dally. No. I was nice to him this year.
Bit of a rivalry going on there with you and Dally, and that'd be one of the better ones in the league. But yeah, you guys, Dally kind of owned you a little bit this year.
Yeah, all in good fun.
All in good fun, yeah. Except you hate him, so that's okay. So on our Super Bowl thoughts and whatnot, we should get into this final award here, the big one, GM of the year. Ryan, why don't you name a candidate? We can give a little our thoughts on the candidate, and then we'll move on to the next, and then we'll announce the winner at the end.
So our GM of the year goes to the GM that, just had the best year. Record, trades, pickups, drops, just general managing. Whoever did that the best this year. Your nominees are Matt Dally, number 1. Thoughts? Or are we going through it? Or
yeah, we'll give our thoughts on that. Jared, what are your thoughts on Dally being considered a GM of the year?
Honestly, not much to say about Matt. I feel like we've gone over it over and over again. He had an outstanding year.
Back-to-back champ.
Great
not
draft.
Much to say.
Maneuvered around, picked up running back when he needed it, got some wide receivers, won the pick. Great year from Matt Dally.
Kremlin to Krem. He's had a terrific year.
Yeah.
Number 2, Nate, the Canada Thunder.
Nate also big improvement from the year before. One of the guys that really stood out. Bottom 3 in the 3 blind mice every week last year.
Yeah.
Improvement really.
Yeah, he made a lot of changes. He did really well this year. A lot to be proud of. I don't know if he's winning this award today. That I think he definitely he's well deserving of the recognition for the year that he had.
Number 3, Jake.
Jake,
good season. Didn't quite come through in the end. Solid
Jake
win
had
streaks.
Jake had a terrific year. I mean, he had a terrific win streak. 11-3. He lost his opening week of the year to Ryman. He lost another week to Ryman, and then first round of playoffs to Ryman. If Ryman's not in the league, Jake's winning the championship this year. He had a terrific year, drafted great, pulled off that trade early on. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why his name's not up for nomination.
Number 4, Kalen with the Shetland United FC.
Sure.
Well, I mean, I feel like Kalen's resume this year kind of speaks for himself. Regular season champ, and rode that high to 3 very convincing playoff wins. Uh, Kalen speaks for himself. He's coming back up to the A-League for a reason.
And we talk about, Nate's big turnaround. Kalen had a big turnaround too. He went from A-League last year right to B-League. And, he was really never in it for the A-League last year to be not going to the B-League. So, I mean, he had quite the turnaround as well to come and win the B-League. So, I mean, his name for GM of the year has to be up for consideration.
Not to mention he trimmed the fat a bunch of times, dropped a bunch of bench guys, just kind of stuck with who he knew would seal the deal for him.
Yeah.
Number 5, our final nomination for GM of the year is Eric Henderson.
I think Eric Henderson is a GM of the year nominee because of the fierce win streak he went on. Kind of wrote him off at the beginning. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, I had him written off. He was in the 3 blind mice for a week. I had him written off for sure, and he pulled out, week 7. I think he had a win week 5, and week 3 he was a mediocre team, and then week 7 to week 13 he turns it around as everyone else is kind of gliding into the finish. He's sprinting in, and he really, really pulled through. I think he had a terrific year, bounced back. Hopkins on the bench was a big one. He wasn't even ready till week 6. He drafted him. That says a lot about how good of a GM you are when you can draft a guy who's suspended and then pulls you into the playoffs later. Yeah, he had a terrific year. So with that being said, and you've heard our thoughts on it, Ryan, with the GM of the year,
your winner
present that
for GM of the year for the BFL Football Fantasy Football League is Matt Daly. Hats off to you.
Yeah. Cheers, Matt. NFL or BFL B3FL GM of the year. The first official recipient of the GM of the year award. Matt Daly, back-to-back championships. Not much else you can say about that. He really ran with it from the start. Jake was up there with him. Couldn't come through in playoffs. Congratulations to Daly.
We love
Kamish?
you. You're very
Couldn't agree
special.
more. Pains me to give it to him, but well deserved.
Yeah, and I mean, we all want to be the GM of the year, and I think that hopefully this becomes a prestigious award. But yeah, he was the best of the best this year. So shout out to Daly in the year that you had, and shout out to your meme and your son. I think I said it early in the year. I really don't feel that you should be putting Detroit Lions merchandise on him. I feel like he should have the right to make that decision and get out of that choice of lifestyle on his own. Because that's a bad football franchise, the Detroit Lions. But yeah, shout out Daly. Ryan, what are your thoughts on Daly winning GM of the year?
I mean, yeah, the resume speaks for itself. It'd be tough to give it to somebody else,
Yeah, and I think, for me, Jake was probably second with the year that he had and the amount of points that he put up. I think Henderson maybe edges out Kalen just a bit because of that win streak. I really was appreciative of that win streak. In my opinion, Kalen probably comes 4th with the year that he had, but then Nate comes up as 5th. Obviously, he was out in the second round of playoffs. He had a great year, no doubt. Definitely one of the GMs of the year, but he's definitely 5th in my opinion out of those 5. And I mean, Daly's set up to be. I mean, he's going to go into the next year's season number 1 in the rankings. He has to.
GM rankings. We should bust those out next year.
He's never lost a playoff game since the B3FL merger in 2 years. He's undefeated in the playoffs. I'm 0-2. I'm just looking for one win in the playoffs, and this guy's gotten 2 championships. He has more championships than I do playoff appearances. Playoff games.
Says a lot. Says a lot about his GM abilities.
And it goes to, and I mean, Kelsey back-to-back years early on in the draft is huge. And GM of the year. Can't say it again. Can't say it enough. Can't say enough about him. Matt Daly. He did a lot for the league too, in terms of putting together that tie-breaking document.
Major contributor. Big meme guy. He's always sending things, improvements, and valuable member.
And discussing with the people who have decided on who's going to win the awards and whatnot. This isn't just on who wins the league. This is essentially accumulation of your entire season and what you've done in the B3FL. So that's a major factor in this. Just got the trade updates on the Timo Meier trade, not to take away from Matt Daly, but looks like the Devils gave up a couple first round picks, a couple prospects, and a player. So we won the trade for sure. Devils winning the Stanley Cup. You heard it here first. You can lock your bets in now. Been using Betway.com for betting lately. I don't know if you guys use that or you guys are into sports betting at all. Betway. That's what I've been using.
Same.
Betway.
I use Betway for the season.
Not a gambler?
No, I don't gamble.
Yeah, I don't gamble well. I basically just use the free money that they give us on the site. But lock in your futures for Stanley Cup winner, New Jersey Devils. Jared, well, we appreciate you having on the show. Is there anything you want to end with? Any commissioner notes? Wrapping up the season. This has been the Super Bowl season summary show, and it's been great having everyone.
No, I just want to thank everyone. It was a great season. More engagement than we've ever seen before. Love to see it. But stay tuned. Like we say, the league is young. Lots of changes to come. Love your input. If you ever want a job or something to help contribute, we got lots of ideas. Reach out. And we're gonna try and make this off season exciting. News to come. Changes to be made. Just because it's the off season doesn't mean fantasy football stops.
I hear you. Well, no, and thanks for coming on, Jared. We appreciate having you. Going over some of the things that we're going to be implementing, going forward. I think it's good, and I think the next step is having a city hall meeting with everyone open to come if they want to drop in and voice their opinion. So we need to come together with a date for that. And I think the Pistol and Gun Cop show would be the perfect place to host that. A neutral opinionated media source of the league.
I'd like that idea. If you guys were interested in hosting, we could probably set something up in April.
I think we should for sure.
Ryan, give you some time to settle in, but if we could host it on the show, my God, that'd be great.
I think we look at the beginning of April and we say that's the time we need to hit. We do a city hall with some of the opinions and go over the manifesto and really just iron out some of the details going into the next couple of years.
I'm excited.
Very excited.
Sounds good.
Very excited.
Ryan, you got anything you want to end with?
No, it's a great season. Don't forget to vote on meme of the year. That poll will be hopefully posted.
Yeah.
Simultaneously with the podcast. So go check the Discord, cast your votes.
Yeah. No, definitely vote on meme of the year. We want to get that out to the people. I think it was a great year. I think the league went smooth. I think it was awesome. Everyone that wanted to get involved did. Every team was into it. We didn't have any issues there. I think it was an exciting end of the season, playoffs, getting into the playoffs. It was all around great. And I think the league's only going to continue to get better. So shout out to all the award winners today. Your GM of the year, Matt Daly, back-to-back champ. That's the big one. So shout out to him. Thank you to Commissioner Jer for all you do. Ryan, thank you to you for all you do for the show here. Right from the intro down to all the editing. And this has been a terrific B3FL football season, boys.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for coming on the show. And you guys have a terrific start to the off season, boys.
Back at you.
I'm ready.